Statements by ministers. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I rise on this day in this chamber as all of us and all Canadians are heartbroken. Heartbroken for the 18 people confirmed killed in a senseless act of violence in Nova Scotia. Heartbroken because the people whose lives were taken away will never be with us again. Among them was Constable Heidi Stevenson, who died in the line of duty. She was kind and she was gifted. She was great police and she was a great mom. She embodied the values that built this country, values like integrity, honesty, compassion. For her community, she paid the ultimate price, and her service will never be forgotten. Like Constable Stevenson, many of the victims were also serving their community in the best way they knew how. A teacher, a nurse, a child's grandparent, a parent's child. Who has the words to ease our sorrow? Because there are no words for the pain their families and loved ones feel today. But I want them to know that all Canadians are with them, that this senseless, evil act will not define Nova Scotia, that today all Canadians are Nova Scotian. We share their grief, we are mourning their loss, and we will be there for them in the difficult days, weeks, and months ahead. Mr. Speaker, we have 11 colleagues in this House who represent the people of Nova Scotia. They are where they need to be today, with their communities across the province, grieving and supporting them. We stand with them, today and every day. Monsieur le Président, les gens ont du mal à croire qu'une telle tragédie ait pu se produire dans des communautés comme Portapique, Truro ou Enfield, dans des endroits où les gens se connaissent, où ils se font confiance, le genre d'endroit où les gens ne barrent pas les portes. Comme me l'a dit ce matin le sénateur Kutcher, en Nouvelle-Écosse, les gens ne sont pas à 6 degrés de séparation les uns des autres, mais bien à 2 degrés de séparation. Tout le monde se connaît, tout le monde est en choc. Mais alors que ce choc laisse place au deuil, plusieurs seront aussi en colère. En colère que les familles et les amis pleurent la perte de leurs proches. En colère qu'ils ne pourront pas se recueillir ensemble, en personne, pour célébrer la vie de ceux qui nous ont été arrachés. Mr. Speaker, this has been a heartbreaking year for Canadians. From January onwards, it felt like every time we turned on the news, we'd see reports of violence that could not be stopped, of lives that could not be saved. This horrific tragedy happened at a time when Canadians from coast to coast to coast are making sacrifices to keep each other safe. At a time where they're making the right choices every single day to prevent more heartbreak and more tragedy. So when we awoke yesterday to horrific reports coming out of Nova Scotia, many of us probably asked ourselves, just how much more can we take? Monsieur le Président, c'est justement dans les moments les plus sombres, ce qui nous motive à avancer, c'est la poursuite commune d'un avenir meilleur. L'histoire même récente de notre pays n'est pas dépourvue d'obstacles ou de tristesse. Il y a 3 ans, nous avons pleuré la perte de 6 innocents qui ont été assassinés alors qu'ils priaient à Sainte-Foy. Nous n'avons pas laissé ce geste de haine empêcher la poursuite de cet avenir meilleur. 2 years ago, we mourned a young woman, a little girl, and the many injured on Toronto's Danforth while simply enjoying a summer evening in the neighbourhood. We did not let that stop us from our common pursuit of a better tomorrow. And over this past year, we've seen far too many communities shattered, far too many families torn apart by violence and by acts of hate. We will not let that stop us from our common pursuit of a better tomorrow. In our darkest hours, we have always answered hate with hope. We have chosen unity over division. Because, Mr. Speaker, no one man's actions, no matter how cruel, how destructive, or how evil, can build a wall of despair between us and that better tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, today is a heartbreaking day for all Canadians. But while we are united in our grief, we must also be united in our resolve to uphold our values, to live by the example of those who left us too soon, to let hope, love, and compassion guide us during the difficult days, weeks, and months ahead. Because our better tomorrow will come. It might not be this week or even this month, but it will come. Merci.
The honourable member for Aurora, Oak Ridges, Richmond Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Conservative Party of Canada, I would like to express our heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathies to the families and friends of all those who have lost their lives in a senseless attack over the weekend in Nova Scotia. Mes pensées et mes prières et celles de toute l'opposition officielle accompagnent leurs familles et leurs proches. Constable Heidi Stevenson, a 23-year veteran of the RCMP, a mother of two and a loving wife, killed in the line of duty. Aaron Tuck, Jolene Oliver, and Emily Tuck, a family of three. Heather O'Brien, a licensed practical nurse. Kristen Beaton, a continuing care assistant. Lisa McCulley, a teacher at DeBert Elementary School. Sean McLeod, a corrections officer at Spring Hill Institution. Alana Jenkins, a corrections officer at the Nova Institution for Women. Tom Bagley, a neighbor who reportedly died trying to help, just a few of the Canadians killed during this most atrocious shooting in Canadian history. Mes pensées, mon cœur et mes prières accompagnent les proches de ceux qui ont perdu la vie lors de cette attaque innommable. I would also like to wish a speedy recovery to Constable Chad Morrison, who was injured. What has unfolded is incomprehensible. Nova Scotians, and indeed all Canadians, have not only lost incredible members of their communities, but they have lost a sense of security. Face aux crimes immoral et vices, nous nous demandons naturellement pourquoi. Comment cela a-t-il pu se produire? Pourquoi est-ce arrivé? This tragedy is a painful reminder of the risk that all of our first responders take to keep Canadians safe. As they put on their uniforms and brave the unknown, Canadians rest easy, knowing that they are protected in their communities. Tous les jours, nos courageux agents d'application de la loi mettent leur vie en danger et leurs familles en portent le fardeau. J'aimerais prendre un moment pour remercier tous les premiers intervenants qui traitent cette situation difficile avec professionnalisme et je pense à ceux qui ont perdu des collègues. But every single day, our brave law enforcement officers put their lives on the line and their families bear that burden. So I would like to take a moment to thank all of them who are professionally dealing with this difficult situation and to send my thoughts to those who have lost a trusted colleague, and to thank them for putting their lives on the line in service for all of us. To all Nova Scotians reeling from this attack, please know that your nation stands with you in this moment of darkness. Our hearts are with you, and we will be here to support you in the difficult days, weeks, and months ahead. Even though we cannot gather in person during these difficult times, know that you are never alone. It's a wonderful truth that Nova Scotians are great storytellers. I know this will not only be a story of great loss, but a story of love and strength. Canadians are known for their resilience, for their love of country, of family, and of community. Reposons-nous sur cette communauté maintenant et au cours des semaines à venir pour célébrer les belles vies perdues et nous donner la force d'aller de l'avant. Let us rely on that community now and in the weeks ahead to celebrate the beautiful lives lost and give each other much-needed strength to carry on. Let us honor the memory of those lost by sharing their stories and remembering their names. Thank you.
L'honorable député de Belleuil-Chambly.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Nous vivons une période marquée, à bien des égards, par la tristesse. Mais le drame qui se vit présentement en Nouvelle-Écosse suscite la colère et la stupéfaction. On a connu ça. Dawson, Polytechnique, la Grande Mosquée. Plusieurs gestes qu'on associe à une période où il y avait une crainte accrue de comportements à caractère terroriste. Ici même, sur la colline parlementaire, à plusieurs endroits au Canada, et presque au quotidien, 1000 violences, où quelqu'un de plus violent qu'une autre personne qui l'est moins agresse et trop souvent assassine. Il faut sortir de la rhétorique. C'est une exception. C'est un geste isolé. C'est un fou. Évidemment. Quel que soit le motif que quelqu'un se donnera à soi-même, partir en chasse pour assassiner plusieurs autres personnes est forcément un geste fou. Mais chaque personne, chaque fois, est de trop. Monsieur le Président, je crois qu'il faut changer notre relation à la violence. Et on y reviendra certainement. Mais je crois qu'il faut changer notre relation aux instruments de la violence. Dans l'intervalle, tout ça ne change pas le malheur que vivent pas des dizaines, l'entièreté de la population de la Nouvelle-Écosse et de n'importe qui capable de compassion. Alors, je ne peux qu'adresser à tous ces gens et à tous ceux à qui ça fait un peu plus peur chaque fois. Tous nos vœux du plus grand et du plus noble des courages. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
The honourable member for Burnaby South.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je veux exprimer la tristesse que nous ressentons tous face à la violence insensée qui a eu lieu hier en Nouvelle-Écosse. Chacune des victimes représente une perte énorme pour leur famille et leur communauté. Nous nous souvenons de l'agent de la GRC Heidi Stevenson qui a perdu la vie en essayant de protéger les autres. Beaucoup sont également blessés, dont un membre de la GRC. Leurs proches traversent une période inquiétante, rendue encore plus difficile par le fait qu'ils ne pourront peut-être pas rendre visite à leurs proches à l'hôpital en raison de la COVID-19. In the past several weeks, we've seen the courage of first responders in the face of COVID-19, those who are running to harm's way to keep us safe. And now we've got an example of RCMP constable who did exactly that, ran towards the fire, ran towards harm to save the lives of others, and in saving the lives of others, lost hers. She was a 23-year veteran of the RCMP, a mother of 2 young children. And when we think about her sacrifice, we think about this senseless, violent act and how it has hurt an entire province, I want to send a message on behalf of all of us here and all New Democrats that though Nova Scotians are grieving, you are not grieving alone. An entire nation grieves with you. And while we often look to the South and think of mass shootings as a reality for the States, but not something that happens here in Canada, we have to acknowledge that it happens here as well. École Polytechnique was an example of a mass shooting that targeted women, violence against women. And now we don't know the details, but there is clearly a problem with violence, and we have to do something about it. I agree with my colleague who raised the point that it's no longer enough to have rhetoric about the senseless violence. We have to do something about violence. We have to get at the root cause. We have to understand where the gaps occurred that allowed for this to happen and what we can do to prevent this from ever happening again in our country. And while we mourn today with our brothers and sisters from Nova Scotia, while we mourn as a nation, we also tomorrow have to talk about how we can move forward together to prevent this type of harm from ever happening. The only way to truly remember and honor the lives that were lost is to commit to changing the future so this never happens again. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Nanaimo, Ladysmith.
Well, thank you. On behalf of the Green Party of Canada, I would like to extend our deepest condolences. Our hearts go to each and every Nova Scotian and to all those across Canada affected by this horrific tragedy. Premier Stephen McNeil has said, "We will not be defined by this tragedy. We will be defined by how we deal with it. As Nova Scotians, as Canadians, we will reach out to each other. We will support the families of those who died. We will make muffins and say prayers. We will provide counseling. We will love and we will remember." Nova Scotia is a province where there are close connections. Everyone will be affected. I know my colleague from Saanich Gulf Islands, a former Nova Scotian resident and proud Cape Bretoner, knows a family member of one of the victims. Nova Scotians have had their sense of security and safety shattered, but they are strong and resilient and will support each other through this. In our mourning, we are united. Our hope for a brighter tomorrow is rooted in knowing that we are greater than this tragedy. Our love and prayers go to the loved ones of the 18 Nova Scotians who have died. I'm impressed with the way Nova Scotians are responding to this tragedy to show love and support even in this time of COVID-19 physical distancing. As a musician myself, I am feeling the comfort from shared music on the virtual Nova Scotia kitchen party. Citizens are lining the highway over 2 meters apart, leading to the local RCMP station. A virtual vigil is being planned for Friday. Art is being shared, and friends and loved ones are calling each other and supporting each other in so many ways. The names of the deceased so far: Lisa McCulley, a teacher; Heather O'Brien, a care aide; Kristen Beaton, a care aide; Sean McLeod and Ellen Jenkins, both corrections officers; Tom Bagley, a volunteer firefighter; Constable Heidi Stevenson of the RCMP; Emily Tuck and her parents, Jolene Oliver and Aaron Tuck; Greg and Jamie Blair. This is a poem that was written by Cherie Fitch, who lives in the area of the tragedy. Because we love, we cry. Sometimes there is no sense to things, my child. Sometimes there is no answer to the questions why. Sometimes things beyond all understanding. Sometimes people die. When it hurts like this, my child, when you are scared, suffering, confused, Even if you are not together, together let us cry. Remember, there is so much love because we love and cry. Sometimes the sadness takes away your breath. Sometimes the pain seems endless, deep. Sometimes you cannot find the sun. Sometimes you wish you were asleep. When it hurts like this, my child, when you are scared, suffering, confused, even if we are not together, together let us cry. Remember, there is still so much love. Because we love, we cry. Pray that I had answers, child. Pray this wasn't so. There are impossible things, child, I cannot bear for you to know. When it hurts like this, my child, when you are scared, suffering, confused, even if we are not together, together let us cry. Yes, there is still so much love. Because we love, we cry. This will be one of the hardest days for so many. I think of the children, but we are all children. I think of how all of us are traumatized, in shock. I think of Westray, Fredericton. Let us go gentle into this day as we learn more and learn more names of loved ones and realize who we know, but we are each other. Thank you.